The void between stars was cold and silent. Commander Zethrak pressed his clawed hand against the viewing glass of his ship. His yellow eyes watched a small human convoy moving through the asteroid field ahead. 3 cargo vessels, poorly armed. Easy prey. For 6 standard cycles, the Vrexian hunting packs had terrorized the outer trade routes. They struck fast and hard. They took what they wanted and vanished before anyone could respond. The humans called them pirates. The Vrexians called themselves hunters. It was an important difference. Pirates stole for profit. Hunters stalked for the thrill of the chase. Zethrak's pack consisted of 12 ships. Each vessel was built for speed and equipped with cloaking technology that made them invisible to most sensor systems. They had destroyed or captured over 40 human ships in the past 2 cycles alone. The humans were soft creatures. They screamed and begged when cornered. They died easily. The commander made a clicking sound with his mandibles. It was the Vrexian equivalent of a smile. Tonight would be another successful hunt. His warriors were already preparing their weapons and boarding pods. They would disable the engines first. Then they would board. Then they would take everything of value. The humans themselves would be sold as slaves in the outer markets. Good prices for soft laborers. His second-in-command approached from behind. Crickstill was younger and more eager. His scales were still bright green with youth. He had proven himself in many raids. But he still had much to learn about patience. Commander, the convoy maintains its course. They suspect nothing. Shall we begin the attack? Zethrak held up a claw for silence. Something felt wrong. He had hunted these routes for many cycles. He knew the patterns. Cargo convoys always traveled with escort ships. Military patrols always swept these sectors. But the past 3 days had been quiet. Too quiet. The convoy before them moved slowly through the asteroids. Their shields were minimal. Their weapons were practically non-existent. It was almost too perfect. Scan the area again, he ordered. Full spectrum analysis. Crickstill looked confused but obeyed. The scanning officer ran his claws across the console. Lights flickered. Data streamed across multiple screens. Nothing, Commander. The area is clear. Just the convoy and the asteroids. No military vessels within 2 light cycles. Zethrak's instincts screamed at him. He had survived countless hunts by trusting those instincts. But his warriors were watching. They were hungry for battle and glory. To retreat now would make him look weak. He made his decision. All ships, decloak and attack. Disable their engines. Standard hunting formation. 12 Vrexian ships shimmered into existence around the convoy. Their sleek black hulls absorbed light like shadows come to life. Weapons powered up with a familiar hum. Targeting systems locked onto the helpless cargo vessels. The lead cargo ship tried to turn. It was a futile effort. They were surrounded and outgunned. This was the part Zethrak enjoyed most. The moment when prey realized there was no escape. The moment when hope died in their eyes. Then something strange happened. The cargo ships did not run. They did not try to surrender. Instead, their hulls began to change. Panels slid away to reveal hidden weapon systems. Civilian markings dissolved to show military identification codes beneath. The 3 cargo vessels were not cargo vessels at all. They were Imperial Navy Wolf ships, designed to look weak, designed to be bait. Zethrak felt cold fear grip his chest for the first time in many cycles. All ships, retreat! Get us out of here now. But it was already too late. The asteroids around them began to move. What had appeared to be natural rock formations revealed themselves as camouflaged warships. Heavy cruisers, destroyers. A full battle group had been hiding in plain sight. Their weapons were already charged and locked. A voice crackled through the communication system. It was calm and controlled. Human. Vrexian hunting pack. This is Admiral Helena Cross of the Imperial Third Fleet. You are surrounded by overwhelming force. Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded. Any resistance will be met with lethal response. You have 30 seconds to comply. Krixtel looked at Zethrak with panic in his eyes. Commander, what do we do? How did they know we would be here? Zethrak's mind raced through the possibilities. This was not a random patrol. This was a trap. A carefully planned operation that had been prepared long before his pack arrived. The humans had known exactly when and where the Rexians would strike. They had been watching, tracking, hunting the hunters. We fight, Zethrak growled. We are Rexians. We do not surrender to prey animals. He gave the order to attack. His ships opened fire on the nearest human vessel. Green plasma bolts streaked through space and splashed against thick armor plating. The damage was minimal. Human warships were built to withstand far more punishment. The Imperial fleet responded instantly. Concentrated railgun fire tore through the first Rexian ship. The vessel exploded in a ball of white fire that died quickly in the vacuum. Missile salvos launched from multiple angles. Point defense systems tried to intercept, but there were too many. A second ship died. Then a third. Zethrak watched in horror as his pack was systematically destroyed. The humans did not fight like prey. They fought with precision and coordination that spoke of long experience. Every shot was calculated. Every maneuver was planned. They were not reacting to the Rexian attack. They were executing a strategy that had been prepared weeks in advance. A boarding pod attached to his ship before he could react. The hull screamed as human soldiers cut through the outer plating. Alarms blared throughout the vessel. His warriors rushed to repel the invaders, but the humans were already inside. They wore heavy combat armor that made them look like walking tanks. Their weapons fired solid projectiles that punched through Rexian scales like paper. They moved in teams, covered each other, advanced through the corridors with terrible efficiency. Zethrak drew his ceremonial blade and prepared to die fighting. A Rexian hunter never surrendered. He charged at the nearest human soldier. The human sidestepped with speed that seemed impossible for such a bulky suit. An armored fist connected with Zethrak's jaw. The world spun. He hit the floor hard enough to crack his chest plates. When his vision cleared, he was staring up at the barrel of a rifle. The soldier removed her helmet. It was a human female, young by their standards. Her eyes were cold and hard as the space between stars. Commander Zethrak, she said. His name. She knew his name. You are under arrest for piracy, murder, and crimes against humanity. Your hunting days are over. He was dragged to the bridge of a human cruiser. Admiral Cross was waiting. She was older than the soldiers who had captured him. Gray streaked her dark hair, but her eyes held the same cold determination. You look surprised, she observed. Did you really believe we would let your attacks continue forever? Zethrak spat on the floor. How did you find us? Our cloaking technology is perfect. No sensor can detect our ships. The Admiral smiled. It was not a pleasant expression. Your technology is impressive. But we never needed sensors to find you. We analyzed your attack patterns. Every convoy you hit. Every route you took. Every timing decision you made. We built a profile. We understood how you think and how you hunt. Then, we predicted where you would strike next, and we were waiting. She leaned closer. Her voice dropped to almost a whisper. You Rexians pride yourselves on being hunters. You believe other species are prey waiting to be taken. But you forgot something important. Humans evolved as hunters too. We tracked animals across entire continents. We developed patience that lasted generations. We learned to think like our prey so we could anticipate their movements. She straightened and gestured to a guard. Take him to the detention block. He has a long journey ahead. The tribunal at Earth will want to question him personally. As they led him away, Zethrak passed a viewing port. Outside, the remains of his fleet drifted in the void. Broken ships, dead warriors. Everything he had built was destroyed in minutes by creatures he had dismissed as weak. The news spread quickly through Rexian space. The infamous hunting packs had been ambushed and destroyed. Their commander had been captured alive and would face human justice. For the first time in their history, the hunters had become the hunted. Other Rexian packs received the message clearly. The humans were not easy prey. They were patient, and they were calculating. They learned from every attack. They adapted to every threat. And when they finally decided to strike back, they did so with overwhelming force. The hunting raids stopped almost overnight. Rexian ships suddenly discovered important business in other sectors far from human space. The trade routes became safe again. Merchants traveled without fear. The threat had been eliminated not through endless defensive patrols, but through a single devastating offensive action. Admiral Cross received many awards for her operation. She accepted them quietly and without ceremony. Celebrations were not her nature. There was always another threat on the horizon. Always another predator who believed humans were easy targets. She would be waiting for them too. In her private quarters, she kept a collection of trophies. Not weapons or flags. Just simple data chips. Each one contained the analysis profile of a different enemy fleet. Their patterns, their habits, their weaknesses. She studied them constantly, added new observations, refined her predictions. Her staff sometimes called her the Hunter Admiral behind her back. They meant it as a compliment. She had perfected the art of turning predators into prey. She had shown the galaxy that humanity would not be victimized. Not anymore. Not ever again. Zethrak spent the rest of his days in a prison cell on Earth. He was treated fairly according to human laws. 3 meals a day, medical care, even access to a small window where he could see the sky. He often stared at the stars and wondered how everything had gone so wrong. His people had ruled through fear for centuries. They had taken what they wanted from weaker species. They had never imagined that the weak could become strong, that prey could become predators. The humans had taught him a valuable lesson. Strength was not about claws or fangs or advanced weapons. Strength was about patience and intelligence and the will to adapt. The humans possessed all three in abundance. His empire would never threaten them again.